I'm Rosanna Scotto.
And I'm Natasha Verma, and this is Fox 5's Top 5, where we look back at our favorite stories from the past year.
And we are pulling out all the stops. Let's start with some lost footage of the King, Elvis, that's now being seen again thanks to Fox 5. Here's Robert Moses.
As far as the eye can see, a press of excited youngsters from all over the region are on hand for the return of Elvis Presley to Tupelo, Mississippi, the town where he was born.
In September of 1956, nearing the apex of his rise to stardom, Elvis Presley received a hometown hero's welcome. Nearly 7 decades later, Elvis still fascinates. On January 8th, he would have turned 90, a milestone birthday for the king of rock and roll, worthy of a mention on our 6 o'clock newscast. Producer Max Weiskopf asked managing editor Peter Fassini to find footage to use on the air that night.
The Fox Movietone archive had been digitized over the last couple of years, which makes it kind of easy to find things. There was this one clip, this one file that came up. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, this looks different to me.
There seemed to be a good story here. Peter examined the unedited silent clip, which runs a little more than 2 minutes, frame by precious frame. What is Elvis doing, and where is he? Almost immediately, the slate offers some key clues. The date, October 29th, 1956, and the director, R. Webb, as in Robert Webb. A quick search reveals that on October 29, 1956, Elvis was in New York City shooting a new ending scene for Webb's movie,
Love Me Tender.
Love Me Tender, Elvis's first feature film.
It was just in the archives, a terrific find.
Brooklyn College film professor Foster Hirsch, the author of Hollywood and the Movies of the 50s, saw the film when he was 13 years old. The shrieks from fellow audience members forced Hirsch to go back and see it again.
I wanted to find out if he could act, because I thought if I wait a week or two, the pandemonium will die down. And it did. It did. You could hear his dialogue after about a week or two, but not the opening weekend.
And what about that ending? Our story, after all, revolves around that infamous ending.
When they were previewing it to audiences, the reaction was extremely negative. Teenage girls were not happy that Elvis, spoiler alert, dies at the end of this film.
Producers added a scene to cushion the blow of his death, showing the ghost of Elvis on screen singing the title song, Love Me Tender.
Happiness will follow you.
It is this ending that Elvis was recording in New York on that October day in 1956. But there is still the issue of where. Where in New York City is he recording it? Again, the video speaks, albeit silently, when Elvis walks out of the studio and onto the sidewalk to greet his fans.
It was just blind luck. This building looks familiar to me. And I kept pausing it and going back and looking at the exterior. It's like, I think I know where this is.
How many times have you walked by that building in your
Dozens.
The building, an old carriage house, sits on the north side of East 69th Street between 3rd and Lex, just 2 blocks from our television station. The building once housed Junco Studios.
Isn't it amazing? You can walk the streets of Manhattan and not realize what has happened in that spot years before. It's pretty cool.
So we figured out the where and the what, but we still wondered, so what? How significant of a find is this 2-minute clip?
Where do you go for the answers? And it took me a little bit, and you go to Graceland. And that's when I called Angie.
My name's Angie Marchese, and I'm the Vice President of Archives and Exhibitions at Elvis Presley's Graceland.
Angie Marchese was 5 when Elvis died.
I feel like he's like a long-lost uncle that I know everything about, but I never had the opportunity to meet.
Angie started working at Graceland when she was 17. She is the world's foremost Elvis expert. If she hasn't seen it, nobody has. So she, of all people, can put the discovery in perspective.
It's very rare, especially almost 50 years after someone has passed away, to find something that's truly never been seen before. All the casual behind the scenes and interacting with the director and meeting the fans outside and the studio and him going to the car, all of that stuff was brand new to me. To find 2 minutes of unedited Elvis film from 1956 is pretty priceless.
Like Peter, Angie pored over the silent footage. She scrutinized everything.
You can see how Elvis was being very professional, but also wanting to do it right and taking direction very well from the director so they could capture that moment perfectly. And he could have been behind the door and wave at them through the window, but no, he opened the door and he was signing autographs and taking pictures. He never forgot who made it possible for him to buy this beautiful mansion in Memphis. It was the fans.
Elvis had a whirlwind couple of days in New York City. On October 28th, 1956, the day before his recording session at Junco Studios, he appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show, and it was there where he performed perhaps the most valuable service of his entire career. He very publicly got the polio vaccine. David Rose works as a historical consultant for the March of Dimes.
The first mission was to find a solution to the problem of polio. It was a huge effort to make sure that teens got the message that you can't rock and roll with polio. And that was a tagline for all the brochures that the March of Dimes sent out after this famous shoot with Elvis getting his shot.
In the spring of 1957, just a few months after his visit to New York, Elvis bought Graceland. 23 million visitors and counting have made the pilgrimage there to get closer to a superstar who remains relevant to this day. Graceland is home to 1.5 million artifacts, soon to be 1.5 million and one. Angie plans to start using this clip that we found to help tell the world Elvis's story.
It's a really unique piece of footage that has been found and that we're excited about displaying here at Graceland and sharing with the world.
Fox 5 is always watching your health, and sports injuries are a major problem for kids and adults alike.
As a matter of fact, between 100 and 200,000 people tear their ACLs every year. But now, as Fox 5's Dan Bowen shows us, there's a groundbreaking new procedure that could be a game changer.
Set, go. Whether it's a deep pass for a touchdown, a soccer strike to the back of the net, or a fastball right down the middle, there is an athlete behind the action, especially in modern-day youth sports.
I would say that as long as you're really ambitious, you could push for anything you want.
And for Long Island High School senior Santiago Feliciano, that push was on the soccer field.
Make sure that I train well enough, be in peak form, so that then I could go and long shot go to D1 for Stony Brook soccer.
But then a problem. His knee just wouldn't stop hurting.
They did an MRI and that's when they found out I had an ACL tear.
And that separation is what's called an avulsion tear or rupture of the ACL. So this view shows his injury.
Dr. Robert Trasolini is an orthopedist with Northwell Health Huntington Hospital.
Now if I peel this back, we're able to look into the joint and flip it forward. This ligament right here is your ACL.
The ACL, so important for athletes.
To hold the knee in proper placement when you're cutting, pivoting, jumping, or running.
And the doctor says
there's a significant increase in pediatric ACLs over the last 3 to 5 years.
He's seeing more and more young athletes with ACL tears.
They're not giving themselves a break. They're not doing other things to strengthen and train other parts of their body.
Traditionally, a torn ACL is replaced with a tendon graft using tissue from the patient or a cadaver, with recovery taking 9 to 12 months or longer.
Can we find ways to be better?
Dr. Trasolini thinks the answer to that question is yes.
I think there's some points where it is groundbreaking.
Embracing a new technology called the Bear implant, bridge-enhanced ACL restoration.
This is the implant. It's the Bear implant, which looks like...
This is it right here? The implant, that looks kind of like a marshmallow, allows the body to heal itself instead of removing the ligament.
And then we will pass this suture out into the tibia, and what would happen is it would hug the ACL injury.
Is the ACL repairing itself?
In the joint, there's something called synovial fluid, which has a lot of protein enzymes, and which will wash away the healing factors. This will protect it so it can heal itself.
With this implant, I guess I have more hope.
Only specific patients with certain types of tears are eligible. Santiago was the first to ever receive it at Northwell Health Huntington Hospital, cutting his recovery time in half.
For me, it was not even a month on crutches.
Possibly giving him enough time to return to the field sooner and with confidence.
Even with an ACL, you could do like other things, like I guess out of the ordinary things.
Dan Bowens, Fox 5 News.
Coming up, it's a bookstore with many chapters.
100, in fact. We're taking you to a shop celebrating a century on the East Side.
We love telling you about hidden gems in the city.
And we like learning about it ourselves, too, right? Like this bookstore that's been serving up good reads for more than a century. Fox 5's Richard Giacovas takes us on a tour from cover to cover.
Walk down the street here in the heart of New York City in Midtown and you'd almost miss it. That's a bookstore, but this is just not your average bookstore. This is the oldest bookstore in all of New York City. In fact, this year, it turns 100, and we're going to show you inside. The year was 1925. F. Scott Fitzgerald published The Great Gatsby, and Calvin Coolidge was serving his second year as president. And on 59th Street, across from Bloomingdale's, a little-known bookstore was born. Let's climb aboard this old-fashioned elevator equipped with its own operator.
So this is special.
Wow. And explore the hidden treasures stored on the endless shelves of the Argosy bookstore in Midtown.
This is an autograph department.
That's where our tour begins, in this gallery on the top floor, beyond the books, where co-owner Adina Cohen shows us the famous letters signed by Civil War heroes, and the photographs with signatures penned by legendary icons like Liza Minnelli. There's even a check signed by Clark Gable, all for sale. And this is just a piece of a tightly bound maze of history.
It's a fantastic early edition.
Yes, it is.
Adina, along with sister Judith Lowry and nephew Ben, are continuing the next chapter in this bookstore journey. Argosy was passed down to Judith and Adina by their father, who worked in a bookstore in high school as an after-school job. His dream was to open one of his own. So he did, back in 1925. And 100 years later, it's still relevant. Why?
The relevant people find us and keep us going.
People like Bill, who's been browsing at Argosy since he was a kid.
It's the same, it doesn't change.
Despite new offers coming in almost daily to buy this piece of storied history, son Ben says the answer is always no thank you.
Cold calls and people coming in and offers, some very good offers. It's really not on the table. It's, you know, I have 2 kids and someday hopefully they'll join the fold.
Put that right into the camera.
As for those actual recycled books, some priceless first editions that are locked away, many of them are brought in or donated to Argosy. The man in charge of restoration, Richard Rosenblatt, another employee who's been in charge of rebinding and repainting hundreds of books a day for nearly 4 decades.
Here it is. Very lightly, I'm going to go into these areas, right, that are scuffed.
Richard treats every book with TLC, even the weathered bindings that are exempt from restoration because they're just too delicate to handle. But for those who want to experience the gift of Argosy, go in and get lost. Dive deep into some of the most prominent works. Look for the rarest signatures and appreciate a part of history that's still here in Manhattan.
If you have an intellectual life, it can carry you through your older years. Like a ship saving you from drowning.
Oh, and if you're wondering why Mr. Cohen chose the name Argosy, well, we'll go back in time again, when choosing the letter A would put the store at the top of the phone book directory. And you can find those here, too. In Midtown, Richard Giacovas, Fox 5 News.
Coming up, breaking barriers in the restaurant biz.
Get ready to meet the female chefs making their way in the sushi world.
New York City, home to hundreds of sushi restaurants.
But did you know only a handful of them are led by women? Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini caught up with a pair of chefs breaking barriers in a male-dominated industry.
Inside Sushi Akira, head chef Nikki Zen keeps busy. From ordering fish from Japan to carefully preparing the food, piece by piece, wasabi from scratch.
I think passionate is the most important.
And passionate she is.
I get certificate in Japan.
From training in Japan to New York City, now she runs what is an omakase dining experience on the Upper East Side.
From Kagoshima, Japan, strapjack.
The menu is chef's choice. By reservation, it's an 18-course meal and $175 a head. I got a little taste.
Thank you very much.
The chef says watching people enjoy what she serves is one of the best parts of the job.
They have one bite, and then they will be like, So I feel like, okay, it's worth it. No matter how hard, yeah.
There are many challenges in general associated with the restaurant business. In sushi restaurants, it's rare to find female head chefs.
There's old belief on gender bias.
It is indeed a male-dominated profession. Career resource platform Zippia put out some research in 2021, and it was found females represented only about 22% of the sushi chef demographic in the United States.
I think that because there are so few female chefs generally, and also specifically sushi chefs, we all kind of gravitate towards each other.
Inside Hoseki, a small omakase counter in Saks Fifth Avenue, head chef Morgan Adamson is breaking barriers, and she takes pride in doing things her own way, offering a chef's choice lunch menu and handling every bite she serves with care.
I think being able to feel authentic with guests, even if I'm doing something that feels inauthentic to the way I look or where I'm from. It's like I'm a Midwestern girl from, Michigan that didn't grow up eating sushi.
In a city packed with sushi restaurants and seemingly endless food choices, there's rarity in what these women are doing. I asked each of them if they had any advice or hopes for others with a similar dream.
Just do whatever you want to do. I think like putting yourself in a box in any way makes it hard to feel like you can adjust.
I hope I can be an influential chef, influential female sushi chef, so can, encourage more females to be a sushi chef.
Stephanie Bertini, Fox 5 News.
Coming up, malls. Are they thriving or barely surviving?
Meet us by the fountain as we take a deep dive into the state of shopping meccas when we come back. What's old is new again. Who doesn't remember hanging out at the mall? Well, they're having a renaissance across the tri-state area.
And Rosanna, as I found out firsthand at the mall in Short Hills in New Jersey, where people are still shopping till they drop.
The Great American Mall, that pop culture hallmark.
Where's Ty?
Oh, she met some random guys at the Foot Locker and escorted them right over there. Ranging from Pleasure Palace with rides that put an amusement park to shame, to open air where you can pull right up to your favorite store, or fully enclosed, climate-controlled mecca. We're never far from one.
Malls in the tri-state area really have a convenience factor because, it's harder to drive around, it's harder to park, etc.
Alexandra Lang should know. She literally wrote the book on the history of the American Mall, Meet Me by the Fountain. Numbers crunched by Capital One show an average of 1,100 of them closed every year between 2017 and 2022. Back in 1986, there were 25,000 in the U.S. As of 2022, it's estimated there are 1,150 malls left. Many writing the vast retail arcades off, calling them a casualty of the pandemic or relic of a bygone era.
I don't usually come to the mall, but, it's a nice occasion. It's my wife's birthday, so we're just coming to, look around.
And while some are withering on the vine, it's not all bleak.
People just kept saying to me, well, don't you think malls are over, completely over? But when I was talking to mall experts, they all said, no, there are some negative trends in malls, but the pandemic is just accelerating trends that were already there, but there's still a core of malls that are successful.
According to the 2023 State of the American Mall report, foot traffic is up 10% from 2019 at so-called low-tiered malls, shopping centers with an empty anchor store, while it's up 12% at top-tier ones, like the mall at Short Hills. Brianna Gross is the general manager of the Lux Shopping Center in North Jersey. That's been attracting window shoppers and those with cash to burn since opening in 1960.
People come here and they bring their families, and generation after generation, standing behind me is our ball fountain. Multiple generations have even thrown coins in that fountain.
So what does the future of the mall look like? Alexandra Lang thinks we're going to see 3 distinct types emerge.
One of them is going to be really a true town center with retail probably oriented more towards food and daily shopping and housing built around it. I think we'll still have some of the great classic malls. And then I think there'll be a third type that's really more entertainment oriented.
Which means chances are your local mall, in some form, could be alive with the sound of swiping and tapping and maybe even cash registers opening for years to come.
Well, we hope you enjoyed reliving these top 5 moments as much as we did.
We did, right? For Natasha and all of us here at Fox 5, I'm Rosanna Scotto. Thank you for joining.